Misato Akihara, who was unhappy in life due to her high intellect, asks to be reincarnated with average abilities after being run over by a truck and being offered the chance to be reincarnated in a parallel world. The girl, reborn as a noble named Adele von Ashem, travels to the capital of Tiz under the alias Mile to begin a normal life. When Mile learns that several children have gone missing, he sets out to find them, meeting Mavis von Ocean, a knight, and Riane, a mage, along the way. The girls confront the kidnappers and their leader, Arlety, after discovering the missing children with the help of a merchant named Paulin, Mile, whose abilities are actually the average of all magical creatures in the world, inadvertently uses her overly powerful magic to easily defeat the kidnappers when her small stature is insulted. The next day, Mile starts at Hunter's Prep School, where she meets her roommates, Mavis, Riane, and Paulin. Mile tries to hide her abilities as classes begin in order to appear average, but this only makes her roommates suspicious of her. Mile decides to train the other girls to become stronger in the hopes of standing out less as the girls form a party and go on a quest to hunt some horned rabbits. The girls are ambushed by a group of rock golems just as they finish their assignment, but they manage to defeat them using what they've learned. After 6 months, the girls decide to form an official party to celebrate their graduation. With the school on the verge of closing, the principal challenges the girls to compete in a mock battle against B-rank hunters at the graduation and win. On the day of the battle, Mile is approached by Arlety, the person responsible for the closure, who offers to revoke it in exchange for Mile becoming hers if her party fails to win without losing any members. Mavis, Paulin, and Riane, to their surprise, all win their battles using the skills they've learned over the last 6 months. Arlety steps in to fight Mile in the final battle, but after witnessing Mile's power firsthand, she quickly surrenders. Crimson Vow begins to take hunter quests after graduation to help pay for their living expenses. They accept an assignment as guards for a caravan after completing a few gathering quests, where they befriend an elderly merchant. The Crimson Vow prove their worth by easily defeating an attacking robber band, their wizard ally, and his upgraded rock golem after an embarrassing incident with their garments. During the fight, Riane, on the other hand, reveals an excessive hatred for bandits. Mile, Riane, Mavis, and Paulin tell each other their backstories one night during a camp break. Riane, the daughter of a peddler, has grown to despise bandits after they killed her father, and then the Crimson Lightning, an adventuring hunter band who had taken her in and revealed her magical abilities. When her father and brothers refused to let her follow in their footsteps as knights, Mavis ran away from her noble home. Paulin is the daughter of a wealthy merchant who was murdered and his business annexed by his ruthless head clerk, prompting her to become a hunter to avenge her father. Mile, for her part, recounts her life as Adele von Ashem, including how her mother was murdered and she was expelled from her home by her new stepmother, and how she met her first friends at Eklund Academy until an incident involving her magical abilities drew the king's attention, forcing her to flee and assume the identity of Mile. Crimson Vow's escorted merchants arrive safely at their destination, where they meet Anne, the old merchant's granddaughter. The merchants must deliver another shipment shortly after, but they are ambushed and murdered by bandits while on their way. Riane, Mile, Mavis, and Paulin follow Riane into the woods on her own, determined to avenge them. The girls figure out that the bandits are soldiers from the neighboring Albarn Empire sent to sabotage Amroth's trade revenues, and they defeat them all while preventing Riane from killing their leader. The old merchant is also found alive, having escaped the attack by chance, and is reunited with his granddaughter. Crimson Vow decides to take a break after their success on the road. Mile, stumped for ideas, decides to go to the beach and sew new bathing suits for herself and the other girls, causing a minor scandal when they turn out to be too revealing for this world's fashion sense. After spotting a soldier lurking in an alleyway, Paulin backs off the group and disappears as they return to their inn. Mile, Riane, and Mavis receive a letter from Mavis' family informing them that her third eldest brother is marrying Paulin, just as they are wondering where Paulin has gone. This, however, is just a ruse by her father's former head clerk and his friend, Viscount Boardman, to form bonds with a prestigious family line, and they are holding her mother and younger brother hostage to ensure Paulin's cooperation. Mile, Riene, and Mavis invade the Beckett estate to foil the scheme, and Mavis' father, Count Austin, orders a combat trial, which Paulin easily wins. When Count Austin demands Mavis return home, she refuses, forcing Mile to face the Count in a combat trial. The Count finally gives in after being defeated and approves of Mavis' career choice. Crimson Vow takes up a wyvern hunting quest. Despite wyverns being extremely difficult hunting targets, because they are tired of the workload Lenny heaps upon them at their inn, they go to the village where the wyvern in question has settled, and Mile uses several airborne attacks to bring it down, using her teammates as living missiles. Bunaclift, a royal mage who befriended the wyvern, whom he named Lobrith in his youth, stops them before they can kill it. Crimson Vow realizes their long-held dream of erecting a private bathhouse on the inn's grounds, thanks to the happy reunion of those two old friends and Bunacliff's generous compensation of all parties involved. Mile wistfully remembers her first birthday, which she spent with friends at Eklund Academy, while celebrating Lenny's 11th birthday, prompting the rest of Crimson Vow to plan their own surprise party for Mile. However, in order to do so, they must raise funds without informing Mile, causing Mile to become obsessed with the notion that the others are abandoning her. Even after the secret is revealed, the party continues until a relieved Mile admits to committing a few minor transgressions against her own teammates. Riene, Paulin, and Mavis decide to accept a particularly difficult mission in order to show Mile that they are not entirely reliant on her for assistance. Finding an investigation team that has gone missing while investigating the strange fluctuations of a nearby forest's monster population, Crimson Vow discovers that a powerful creature has settled in the deepest part of the woods and has enslaved the local beast people as its servants. As they enter the forest, they go after their leader, an elf scholar named Kulelia, who is still held captive in a set of ruins being excavated by the beast people after freeing the majority of the investigation team. However, they are forced to learn that their opponent is an elder dragon, one of the world's most powerful creatures, and Mile is fatally wounded as a result. Mile recovers her magical power as she lies dying, mired in self-doubt, when she sees her friends fighting for their lives, and with her newfound determination, she easily defeats the Elder Dragon and two of its congeners. Crimson Vow learns from the dragons that they were looking for the remains of a previous, more advanced civilization that died out when it could no longer develop. Despite their refusal to reveal their motives, Mile deduces that they and Nano, a relic of that lost culture, may be looking for that civilization's lost weapons in order to increase their power. Mile decides to go off on her own to figure out their plans and possibly save the world, only to find Riene, Paulin, and Mavis eagerly joining her on her new adventure. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one.